In videos and in the comment sections, anti-feminists often take up the most extreme or the weakest feminist position they can find, or they just straight up misrepresent what the feminist position is. Instead, why not take up the strongest, most robust feminist argument you can find and really challenge yourself?
Yeah, that's a lot of bullshit, Christy. And I've seen your talks with Sargon, and you derailed that beautifully. But okay, so here's my question. Name me one thing, only one thing, that feminism claims to have achieved that is not inherently segregatory to society at large. Just one thing. This is a question I ask feminists always. Do you know how many answers I've gotten? None. The only thing that comes close to a serious answer is, well, free the nipple. Well, fuck that. But okay, fair enough. One thing. Go ahead. But yeah, I'm fully aware that you will not answer that question, just like so many feminists before you have not answered to that question.
I am deeply concerned with male addiction rates, suicide rates, and abuse rates, because I have worked with these issues in the quote-unquote real world. Would you be willing as anti-feminists to put aside your differences with feminists for the greater good of addressing these issues, especially as the kind of solutions needed are not necessarily gendered? And if so, I would actually like you to let me know, because I'm not fucking around or presenting any gotchas here. I actually really think that we could get something done if we work together. So yeah.
Having worked with that demographic of patients, yes, I am seriously concerned about it. And yes, I do seriously want to answer the problems that we are facing. And no, I do not think feminism has anything to bring to the table to help us. In all fairness, I personally feel that gender dysphoria is something mostly created because of feminism, especially third wave feminism, but second wave feminism already pushed for it. The problem with gender dysphoria is that it brings in a lot of different problems. Male suicide rates being one of them, but suicide rate under transgenders is way higher. Substance abuse on the males is high, substance abuse on the transgenders is higher. Personally, gender dysphoria is caused by feminism. But yes, I would love to work with you to think about solutions. Mind you, I really think this is a societal problem, so society should come forward with a solution. And I also fear that feminism has caused this problem. I can explain to you how. I can seriously give you point by point the history of gender dysphoria and the way we are pushing for gender dysphoria in our current society. I'm curious if you're willing to listen to me on that. And yeah, I misphrased. I didn't mean listen to me. I meant discuss with me, because it's not true because I say so. So yeah, I'm sorry if that came across too crass.
What is third wave feminism? Because I've often heard you folks insist that you have no objection to feminism in general. It's specifically third wave feminism that you have a quarrel with. So what is third wave feminism specifically? And what specifically about third wave feminism do you have such a problem with?
Are you sure you want me to answer that? Or will you just block me as usual?
Hashtag historical context matters.
Why is it that this feminist represents all feminists, but this men's rights activist doesn't represent all men's rights activists?
Whoa, wait, sexism all of a sudden? Ladies and men are different? So we're supposed to punch men and not hit ladies and open doors for men but not ladies? Fuck you, get out of my face, you tiny piece of shit.
Okay, I'm sorry if you do not understand the difference between those two. One of them is an idiot trying to make his point where no one listens, and the other one is trying to disrupt a conference where people have to pay to get in. You seriously think they're the same? And I'm not even going to try to defend this guy, because I have no idea what that's about. If you're an idiot, you're an idiot. But you really think that a guy at a McDonald's is the same as a woman trying to disrupt a conference?
Why am I continually asked to answer for the views of feminists if I agree with feminism's overall aims, but don't agree much with those particular feminists? Does that mean that I can ask you to answer for anybody who labels themselves similarly to you, even if you don't agree much?
Okay, let's assume you do not agree with Julie Bindel and Clementine Ford and big-named feminists like that, or Christy Winters for that matter, because she's also full of interesting theories. Let's assume you do not agree with any of them. Then what do you agree with feminism? And don't talk about how you agree with feminism because it's about equality of men and women, because women have more rights defending them than men do. I mean, I know it's a stupid example, but, you know, that wage gap thing, that doesn't exist. Or the fact that in most Western countries, men have the right to vote and women have the right to vote too. But men have the right to be conscripted and women do not have that right. Or the duty to be conscripted. I know. Seriously though, where do you think feminism has ever been about equality of men and women? I gave this challenge to Christy Winters, but you can answer it as well. Give me an example.
If SJs are bad because they spend too much time whining and don't talk about real problems, then why aren't you talking about those problems instead of just whining about the other people over and over and over for literally years? I mean, in the scale of priorities, that's like even lower, right? You know, you've got the real problems, you've got the things that feminists worry about, and then you've got you going, oh, how dare they? Just, how dare they have different priorities from me? Why can't they do what I do? Whine about whining forever for a living. That's healthy.
Okay, I can't answer for everyone who criticizes social justice warriors, the regressive left, or feminism, but I have made videos explaining what is wrong with following the social justice, feminist, etc., narrative. I've given examples on how this is wrong. One of the many movies I have, and I don't have a lot of movies, I only have about 140, but one of them is about gender dysphoria and how gender dysphoria is being promoted and pushed forward as the norm by feminism. You can see this, for example, in the many genders that we have out there, or the body shaming discussions we have constantly. We are trying to devaluate what is biologically preferred over what is basically a construct. And we're doing that by making the biologically preferred one the construct and the construct one the natural one. Do you see where I'm going with this?
Do you see where this is headed?
What you are doing is creating a straw man. You're trying to make it about something else. People who are criticizing certain viewpoints of the social justice warriors, the regressive left and feminism, don't do this because they like to hear their voice. They do this because you're so blatantly wrong. And you make it sound that we only like to hear ourselves talk. Have you ever listened to them? Have you ever tried to listen to the arguments being made? You should try that. It might be enlightening.
Why don't you seem as concerned with actual feminist theory in academia as you are with wrecking people for views?
There isn't one feminist academia point that isn't based on bullshit. Not a single one. Don't get me wrong, there are genuine issues out there, but feminism always seems to have to exaggerate the situation. For example, let's take rape. All rape is bad, yet all men are rapists, and rape happens 1 in 5, 1 in 4, or even 1 in 3 according to Clementine Ford. When in reality the rape number is closer to 1 in 2,000, which is still way too fucking high. So why do you have to lie about it? This is the main issue I have with people claiming to be feminist academics. They figure out an excuse and then they figure around that excuse an explanation. But then again, prove me wrong.
Since so many of you profess to be admirers of second-wave feminism as opposed to third-wave feminism, I thought it would be interesting to ask which second-wave feminists in particular do you appreciate? Which books written by second-wave feminists have you read and found interesting? Which second-wave feminist activists have you specifically admired as you formed the opinion that you like second-wave feminism but you have no use for third-wave feminism? I'm just curious.
Yeah, okay. I'll assume you haven't blocked me, so I'll answer this. No, I don't think second wave feminism was any better than third wave, and I don't think first wave was any better. Well, it wasn't as bad, but I still think it's full of shit. There is no feministic wave that ever was for the equality of people within the society of men. Nothing achieved by feminism has been about equality. It has always been about women's rights. But Steve chives to you too then. Give me an example proving me wrong. Give me one example that feminism has achieved that isn't inherently segregatory.
You do understand that reading the title of a book or an article or watching the first 15 seconds of a video is not going to give you a deep, nuanced understanding of what that book or article or video is about, right? That being said, how can you expect to understand or critique feminist sources if you don't even attempt to understand what they're trying to say?
Nice projection there, hamster. Do you need me to explain to you what projection means, or can you find it out for yourself?
Why is trying and failing to debunk a study into sexual assault the #1 priority for a rational thinker now? Does it maybe say something about your priorities? Does it? Nah, it's fine, it's the feminazis, we have to stop them. They're taking away our video games. Look, Anita, I'm sorry, but I can't... We can't actually destroy video games. That doesn't make any sense.
Okay, nice strawman there, mate. But okay, try to explain this to me then. You don't want to believe official statistics, like for example the FBI's. Let's take America FBI statistic. FBI says that rape occurs in different states with different numbers, but the worst one I found was about 1 in every 2,000 people, which is way too high. 1 in every million is way too high, according to me. Rape should not happen. But okay, 1 in 2,000. Feminists claim 1 in 5, or 1 in 4, or 1 in 3, depending on which one you talk to. That's an exaggeration by 400 times as high. You seriously think that the FBI could be 400 times off the mark? I mean, I'm willing to concede that they're not 100% right, but that would mean that they're more than 99% wrong. Seriously? And you think that's believable? Well, this is only part of the complete story that I'm making. The rest will be put here as well. Please like, share, subscribe if you feel so inclined, and look out for the next installment of it.